Okay, that means I think
Hello.
we're good.
Awesome. Well, welcome
Hi.
back to week 3. No. Meow, 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 meow. Oh yeah, we got to do our
Oh, week three.
our St.
Week
Patrick's
three.
dance. Yeah.
It is St. Patrick's Day. Do you know that St. Patrick is not Irish?
No, I didn't know that.
St. Patrick is British. He was captured by Irish pirates, taken over to
Hmm.
Ireland. But what he's known for is he brought Christianity or the Catholic religion to Ireland. And so he spread the Catholic religion and gave Ireland what they called religious freedom because prior to that they weren't allowed to. They didn't know about other religions, and so
Hmm.
that's why Ireland like celebrates St. Patrick, even though he was British, because of what St. Patrick did for Ireland in religion.
Hmm. There you go. All right,
Fun
everybody
fact.
shut off their YouTube already. No, just kidding. Off mute.
Boring.
No. No, it's
Okay,
okay.
my
It's good.
bad.
No, I like
Okay.
it. I didn't know
Anyways,
that.
that's my 2 cents. There you go. That's my St. Patrick's Day little straw. Something to the celebration. But
For sure.
so I was thinking about something, and this is mainly because I was watching my stocks with my particular retail company that I still have and watched it just get destroyed. I mean, I'm talking like $23,000 lost in the last 2 weeks. Plummet.
What?
Yeah, it's brutal.
2 weeks?
Hmm.
Whew.
Yeah. So I was thinking, was noodling on it, trying not to get mad, just noodling.
You're
And
like, where can we take this pent up anger to our
anger.
beautiful channel here?
You know what? Let's get on YouTube. No. So, but I was thinking about it, and the thing that's crazy was the thing in my brain. I was like, dude, I wonder what this is doing to payroll.
Mhm.
Because when you start to really break it down and really understand, the stocks are, I mean, completely out of your control because it's shareholders and their emotions, right?
Right.
And but when the shareholders are losing faith in your company for whatever reason, lots of reasons go into that, whether it's sales, politics, like whatever,
Hmm.
it actually determines your life in the store. So, because if the stocks are not like, we're not doing well, they're going to cut payroll because they got to make up for profitability, right? So, I think a lot of times
Hmm.
people forget, like, even though these are massive, huge companies, they're for profit. So
Right.
at the end of the day, the bottom line is the most important thing to them. And so, like, I know just from previous roles of I did not want the stocks to go down, not because of my personal money, but because of what I knew that was going to be coming around the corner.
Hmm.
And it usually resulted in cutting payroll,
Yep.
a lot of hiring freezes, or like don't fill your salaried positions even. Like, sorry, you guys are going to I know we told you get an extra, but we're going to run a little short for a while because the stocks don't support it. Therefore, we really can't afford it to keep our bottom line.
Well.
They'll actually push back like seasonal hiring.
Hmm.
They'll push back when you get the payroll for seasonal hiring. It also it can determine your hours. So like when the store actually opens and closes. Because if they're trying to get every little penny of sales, they're going to be
Everybody leaves at
cool.
9, and there's one
Eh,
cashier that has to do all the rest of the reshop.
that's right. That's right. No more payroll, longer hours, like so the stores open longer, but you don't get extra payroll. So you're going to get real skinny on these days, especially when we're heading into the low
Summer.
season.
Hmm.
Yeah, you still have you got a few holidays up in there, but nothing that's going to like bounce back the sales of something pretty dramatic like what's kind of going on right now.
Right.
And so it kind of gets, you're just going to get squeezed really hard, but at the same time, the
Hmm.
job doesn't get easier. Nothing stops happening. It's not like, oh, and we're going to stop doing
Selling.
signing.
Right. Selling Starbucks, or
That's not happening.
we're
Like,
not going to
we still have to do,
sell electronics anymore.
I know. It was like, can we just maybe not? Can we just not do something, like, I don't know, maybe just not do the price changes and the price changes just ring up at the register. Can we just do that? Like it just, I don't know. Something to like limit
Hmm.
the responsibilities because we have less people and we have less time. But you don't. And so it's constantly like squeezing your resources to be the most productive or efficient. That's another favorite word. Um, to try to get their most bang for their buck, which makes sense from running a business, right? We're entrepreneurs now. We're
Yeah.
running a business. I'm
Right.
consistently looking at debits and credits, like
Hmm.
you're supposed to in the basics of accounting world, because that's all I can
Right.
do is basics. Don't ask me to do anything else. Debits and credits, that's all I got. Um, but it's crazy because the pain of what decreases in stock does is a lot of times, and especially at the um, hourly level, they never know or understand that's what's actually
Hmm.
causing their frustrations in X, Y, and Z. And so it's the first layer of salary that's having to figure it out. And then the store leader is the one that is having to communicate it. But
Hmm.
actually, it comes from the next level, right? The district
Yep.
people. They had to figure out how to communicate this appropriately. And then you get to where I was at, like at the next like group level, whatever, and communicate that down. And it's just like this
Hmm.
negative, this is coming kind of communication that filters down. And then it's like,
And it gets bigger every level. Like at the beginning, they're like, "Well, this is okay. We'll get through this." And then
yeah, it's like,
down to the
no.
district, you're like, "Wait." I feel like Hunger Games a little bit. Like, oh, the districts are starting to
And
get
then,
better in the communication, and you're like, "Well, I don't know.
here's my
There's a lot
favorite,
more people."
here's my favorite part then, right? So it's March. Then we get bonus and reviews now and like this time period, right?
Yep.
Well, guess what?
They're not
They'll
more
cut that
people.
money too.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then we're like, you know what we want you to do? We want you to do a survey. And I would like you to be very happy about this. If everybody could just please
Because the
be
year was
super
great,
happy.
and then you need to take the survey when things aren't looking so great right now.
Yeah, or like you got or you didn't get great reviews and it's like, hey, 3 weeks later, I know that you didn't get a great review, but I'm gonna need you to be happy on this survey because if not, I could get fired. It's
I'm
like
definitely gonna get fired.
certainly gonna get fired, but I wasn't the one that decided your pay. And to all fairness, right? Like they didn't. They had to communicate it. And
Hmm.
so there's
It's
this
that.
whole, yeah, there's
Hmm.
this whole like, holy smokes, this is all coming from something that unfortunately you can't directly impact. Now you could, you talk to the upper levels, they're like, well, if you don't sell, then of course it's your fault. It's actually your fault, lower level store people, because you're not efficient enough. If you were more efficient, then we would probably have a better bottom line, right? Like that's the
Hmm.
connection that it feels like. And it's like, that is not the connection. Some
It's like
stores,
how
yes.
many fingers can you point at somebody else when you know there's like three more that are coming your way? So,
Or like you're hired to solve that. That's not
right.
their job to solve. That's your
No.
job to solve that. Right.
Hmm.
And like the other piece, you and I were chatting about, um, a little bit about that of the communication and, what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do that. But then like, how do you fix something that you can't control? And it's interesting because, um, the thought process of how stores run during this time period, right?
Hmm.
Well, my favorite is when so like when payroll gets cut, right? What stores tend to not get their payroll cut?
The ones that don't have much payroll to cut, and they're doing
Uh,
really badly,
they're doing really badly. So the really bad stores
that
were
aren't
like
making sales,
that are not making sales, that have crazy turnover. So they're constantly hiring. They
hiring and
can't
training.
retain anybody. They have
Hmm.
awful culture. They don't train because they're just trying to get a truck done. So they're just like, we're going to hire you and you're going to go open boxes. That's what you're going to do, right? Their job is to open boxes. They're not even like functioning in an actual role because they
Hmm.
don't even put the stuff on the shelf. We need somebody to open boxes because it's so bad. They're the ones that get all the payroll.
Yep. And keep the
And it's
payroll.
like, yeah. Oh, and eat it and blow it. Like,
Yeah. It's not efficient at all, but they get
oh,
it.
but they get it because what else are you going to do? You're going to cut them more. You're going to make it even worse. And I'm like, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I never had to make that decision. That was up to the district leaders. That was not my call. But I was like, this is going to be bad. Like, this is going to be really rough. And they're going to be really, really mad at their peers. Like,
Hmm.
really mad. And
And then you have the retail guilt where you get up in the middle of the night and you're like, that truck isn't going to be done. I might as well go in at 4. I'm awake now. I'm a I'm an asset protection ETL executive, and all of a sudden you're like, "What's a box cutter?" I don't know.
you're using the wrong one.
Yeah, that's the
You
wrong side.
specific use the this guy, not the old school metal one, which are all over my house still, by
Not a
the way.
pocket knife that you're just gonna like start ripping.
Yeah, no knives allowed. Stop it. Don't you bring those in here. Bring those up in here. Yeah, yeah. Or like married to a store leader. They yeah, 4 o'clock in the morning we get the text from the GM of hey, it looks like we truck's about 3,000. You're like, oh my God. 3,000?
You
That
can
is
fit that
not
much into a truck? Mm.
right. I'm like, oh no. And it's like that's not what the DCI said. Like when we were looking at that, and it's
Check
like,
the numbers. Check it again, please.
check the number. And we had 7 call-ins. It's like a 3,000 piece truck, 7 call-ins. Um, and I don't have my team leader either.
So I just texted you real quick. I had my unloader. I had the truck driver text you this information. Because I don't have time to do that. I've got to unload a truck.
I'm throwing it as we speak.
Voice
Oh
to text.
God.
Ouch, my
Yes.
foot. Oh, that was the voice to text that got sent anyway from Siri. Thanks.
Mine would always be like, there goes the pickles. Like,
Oh, it's
always.
why do always pickles fall? Why are those boxes always broken? And
It's always the pickles. I'm like, cool, 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 cool. Let's just do the vinegar ones everywhere. That's amazing.
yep.
Hmm.
Just don't do the not my fit. What's the bread and butter? I don't like the bread and butter, so please don't do that one.
Not the bread and butter.
Not the
Check.
bread. Check. Oh
Let's
man, it's the bread and butter.
put some bubble wrap around those bad boys. That or man, pasta sauce. You better watch out for that.
Yep, pasta. I was thinking of. I was like, what's the messier one than pickles? Isn't. Oh, until it gets it under the gondola. I don't know why we
Oh
have
gosh.
gondolas that are.
Oh, mine would get all over the track and like the wheels, and so it's like trying to clean
You see like a
it.
spot every 4 feet. Like, okay,
It's
cool.
like spraying it. Like, oh, this is so good. I love this. So
Man.
I have time. I have time in payroll to clean this up now. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. No, you just
Yeah.
put absorbent on it and then let it sit there for a couple days.
Yeah. And like a weird pile of dusty,
Coagulated.
whatever it is. Yeah. Strange chemicals. I don't know. Yeah. It was it's interesting though, because how like something as small as me watching like stock decrease to be like, holy cow, I bet it is absolutely brutal in stores right now.
Hmm.
Like brutal. This is when you ask everybody to take vacation. Would everybody like to take vacation? And then when you do
Yeah.
take vacation and you come back, then you have guilt because they're like, yeah, your team didn't do very well. And it's like, you told me to take vacation. Like, what's going on here? Or what the executives though,
Oh, the
the
executives don't get
salary?
time off. No,
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 no.
no, 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 no,
The
no.
team leads get all thrown out because they make too much per hour. And
Mhm.
then it's the key carriers, and then they're like, no, 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 you could close the registers yourself. You got this. And you're
Yeah,
like,
no.
no, that's how we train them so that they could run the job that we,
Oh, man, we're actually developing them so that they can be a leader. You're like, no,
So
you're not. You're using them to do more. And you're
send them
never
on
going to
vacation.
promote them. It's like, oh
The
man,
real
this is
test would be like, hey, you got to run this whole department on your own. You got to send your whole team out. This is what the executive level is going to look like in your store. Your salary team is going to look
yeah.
like. So.
Man, I was shopping in a store this weekend, on Saturday or something, and it was just brutal. And like I wanted to be shocked. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And I was like, I know
Look
exactly
at the
what's going
stocks.
on.
Look at the
I know
stocks.
exactly what's happening.
Yep.
Like literally, I know what's happening right now. And the
Mm.
the guests do not stop coming in. They don't care what's going on. The guests,
Nope.
I mean, you would think they were because that's the whole reason why like maybe stocks are down because of
Right.
sales, but
Sales are
it
going
doesn't
down.
feel like it. You never like notice it inside of the store. You're never like, wow, it's actually like not that
Slower.
busy today.
Yeah.
Never
Nope.
happens.
Mm-mm. It doesn't. It fills the space, and then you have maybe because there's more anger around that from the customers, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Well, your lines are long. Let's talk to a manager, please." You're like, "I actually sent them home." So what happened when they're on vacation this week?
They're on
So
vacation. Come back in a week, please, and they will be here.
yep, and
And
then maybe things will
I
be better. Thanks, love you too.
am
Bye.
not a manager. I'm not a manager. Like,
Not a manager.
I'm
Don't you
not.
see my truck T-shirt? It's
But
dirty.
look, I have a grease stain from the pin lock right back
Yeah.
here. I do pin lock.
I
Yeah,
did the pin
no,
lock.
the
Yeah,
pin
I got a
lock.
grease stain. It's my button up is in the office, okay?
It's
We'll get that later.
my district manager's coming.
It's
Hooray!
dusty though. It's so dusty. I haven't worn it in so long. I've just been like, hey, come on in. I'm gonna tell you what. You see the stock? We're good. Let's roll. You ready to push a truck with me? Can you hit the dollar spot, please? That's a good margin on that. Never mind. Don't
Would you
push
grab
that.
that
Just
U-boat?
yeah,
Just grab
don't
the U-boat.
just push domestics so that it can $100
Domestic.
a pop if it sells, and then it also stinks when you don't sell things. I've realized this over the 14 years is you have a lot more product, and then it goes
Hmm.
clearance, and then you get tag. You have so many more to tag. You're like, wait, that's the problem. I don't want to. I don't even want to sell it in the first place. Why do we have to tag it now and make it? That's why I love those big signs that just said, "Hey, this is all 30%. Go figure it out. Go figure."
But then you'd
And
have like the new color mixed in with there, and so
oh
then
yeah,
all the guests would be pissed of like it's
yes,
supposed to be, and you're like, oh, that not the purple.
not
It's
the
actually
purple.
only the grays.
It's the grays and the reds. That's Christmas colors, don't you know? You're like, okay, sorry. Somebody
See
got up on the wrong side of the
the light
bed.
springy colors, the light blue and the light purple and the light yellow.
Yeah, that's
That's
all
not
regular
this.
price. Yep.
Those are regular. They're exact same towels, but the colors. We just got to get rid of the
Yeah.
winter colors.
Exactly.
Brutal. It is. It's like, and what's interesting is our whole point to doing this is
Hmm.
to help people know that there are options out there. Now,
Right.
certainly I don't want everybody from retail to leave retail because then I won't be able to be that crazy guest that goes into the store and buys all
Yeah.
the things, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that. But I do think there is something to be said about those that are actually unhappy and
Hmm.
like if this is impacting your personal happiness or even like your family's life, then you should be able to have an option to choose. And that's where
Hmm.
I think, unfortunately, in the retail world, you get a little brainwashed of like, that I can't, there's nothing that I can go to outside of this or nothing better. Or like, is there another retailer that's better than this? And it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, but retail's retail, right? But like, but I've only done retail my whole life. So how would I get into
Right.
anything else, right? You go through all these fears and it holds you back from being able to actually choose the lifestyle you want, the actual career. I don't know how many people I've met over the years that thought they were going to promote and have never promoted. So therefore they're still not making the money, but they feel like they're working just as much. And, that's where really I think you and I can come into play of having those conversations and teaching about how you can make some choices and decisions in life. But
Hmm.
it also needs to be right for you, right? Like
Yeah.
right moments, but the choice is what's important. And you
Yeah.
knowing there's there are ways out there. I know that you've had a couple of conversations with people in a variety of retailers that are laying off like crazy right now.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. There's
insane.
definitely a lot of people that are seeing. I think I said it like on our first call. It was like the writing on the wall. You're like, wait, do I just keep doing what I'm doing, or is it like time to start looking at other avenues? And then do you just say, hey, let me go look at another retailer? Or I know you went into looking at banking. I went into looking
Hmm.
at grocery, and I was like, this is just the same. It's the same stuff, just
Hmm.
not not the real solution. And I thought it was just retail. I'm great at it. Focus on your skill sets. And I did learn a ton with them. But I also learned like, oh, there's transferable skills, which are really
Hmm.
powerful to say, hey, like if I can build a team and help them get results and help people learn, and that's how I got so passionate about what I do is it's around finance, and that's a big part of it, but it's also a mindset thing where it's like don't have to be a rocket scientist. It's just being
Hmm.
able to learn and grow and be uncomfortable for a little bit. And maybe it's just uncomfortable while you're learning the process of what we do. But it's really powerful to see there's such cool transferable skills that you can take from a retail experience or leadership roles into what we do.
Yeah.
And other, you can go, knit baskets if you want. Cool. Like just have something that you're starting to grow and what you're is a passion for. I think a lot of people get burned out and they're like, well, I'm just selling toilet paper and putting pickles and tomato sauce on the shelf so that they could fall off and somebody and that's where I kind of hit a
End
wall.
cap of wine. The
Why are
end
we
cap
doing
of
this?
wine.
Yeah, why are we doing this now? Like arguing with vendors and uh
Yeah. What's happening?
it's a lot. So there's definitely options to be able to say, hey, like let's have a choice in what we do. Like I get to drop my kids off every morning. I get to pick them up if I'd like to. Um, but there's a lot of fear right now. And
Yeah.
one tip, if anybody else does anything from this call, uh, or from what we're talking about, is just get off the news. That's probably like the
Oh.
scariest fear mongering location you can find information.
Mm.
Um, I unplug from the news as much as possible because I know my emotions get into it and fear starts coming up, but it's just being understanding of like why the news is there. It's to get people afraid and bear change and split up and not be on the same page. And you're like, well, this company's failing and this one, and it's to cause you to react instead of be proactive. So I love giving that option of people being proactive and having, we'll talk about that next week too, of like what it looks like to start to make a transition into that. So
Yep. I think that would be great. I think that would be great. There's a lot, and we always used to say when, the money is good, whether that's the sales or the stock, then the store is good. Like everybody's
yeah,
good and happy with it. If it's bad, it's all bad. And, the direct connection now, like when I look at that in this role, in this job and in finance, there's two different sides. One, people are losing a ton of money and they're like, I don't want to lose any more. Help
mm-hmm.
me figure that out. Or two, when it's really good, they're like, oh, I actually can invest in my future. Maybe I should talk to somebody about that. So there's
Right,
like both sides. Or, mine is right now, like ideally, we recover a little bit of what we lost from that market and then we
right,
protect it so that we don't go through that again. And it's
mm-hmm.
like you lived through it once, let's not do that again. And so not only is it options about your career, but options, for your money so that you don't have to rely the rest of your life on this company to keep you
Right,
going financially. It's like there's a lot of different things that you can do out there to help yourself. Because that's really what it is. It's kind of like what you were talking about is really like, and next time we're together is really for me about like betting on yourself.
yeah,
It's the best bet you can make is bet
yep,
on yourself. And
definitely,
takes courage, but don't bet
yeah,
on the stock market.
yeah, no. Yep, you're the best investment that you can make in your
The
is in
house
yourself.
always wins. Okay. The house always wins,
Yeah.
right? Like that is a rule. So if you're the house and you're betting on yourself,
Yep.
you're gonna
You're gonna win.
win. You're either good
Yep.
win-win, like in the moment. Don't other stuff, the house wins for
Yep.
sure.
And that's the thing people don't realize. They're like, "Oh, I've got this great 401k and they match this amount." And I'm like, "Do you know why they set that up? It's not for your benefit." Unfortunately. They think it is. It is because it's helping you grow. That's part of it, but they get two or three times as many incentives. They're getting a tax write-off. They're getting kickbacks from these custodians. They're getting, and that's why when you go to ask questions about your 401k, from your HR, no offense. Um, but they say, "Oh yeah,
We
you
don't
know
know.
that phone number on your packet that you got once a year? Just go call that number. They'll figure it out for you." And it's like, well, they don't really
Where's
care.
the where's the benefits information? It's a 1-800 number.
Yep,
I'll find that
call
for
them
you.
and they'll figure it out. And then you
Some
realize
questions.
there's so many people that I've heard stories of that they have these really good 401ks, but they set it when they were 30 or 20. And then all of a sudden they get into their 60s and it's in this risky investment and they don't change them and they because that's not what they're made to do. They just get told to put money towards it and you're getting 5% and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, like 2008 happens, they drop 40%, 60%. And then we love helping do it. Like just being aware. It's not to like say, hey, go shove all into what we're doing, but we just love giving options because that's what we do. We're financial strategists. We don't want to take out your financial advisor. We don't want to take out your CPA. We want to build them all together to build a wealth network that is helping you just have options and educated. And I wish I learned about this when I was in my 20s, like just starting at this the company and saying, "Hey, let's grow from there," um, because I wouldn't have been shoving in as much as I would have in the 401k. But it's okay. You live and you learn and you grow, and I just love
Yeah,
being
I
aware
mean,
for people
I think
with that.
that's yeah, I think that's the part is the learn. We can educate a little bit earlier versus going through our pain
Yeah, yeah,
through that. But I think the important part, really is the diversification, and you don't want to rely on just one thing at all. So to your point, I love that idea of like all of anybody that has anything to do with your money, to your point, CPAs or accountants or your advisor, whatever, is are they all working in the exact same direction
hmm
or are they conflicting against each other? Because
right,
what you will find is that sometimes strategies for one does not match the strategy for the other. And so if they are having different strategies for your money, then you're not going to get where you want to go. And so what we do is we look at your entire portfolio, understand where you've been advised, where your money's at, the tax strategy behind it, and
right,
say, okay, this is right now, this is where you're at, but this one actually is not going to help you with X, Y, and Z.
right.
This one doesn't help this one over here. So we kind of untangle the web or the knot that maybe your finances have gotten into that you don't even know because
Yeah,
they're all separate entities working on their own, which maybe individually are great strategies, but when you start putting them all together, the puzzle pieces aren't fitting. So we help you put those puzzle pieces together, and then we're going to find where you're missing them and help you put that all into um, one picture, and then you actually know what your money is doing at
yeah,
what time. So again, control is key, and control of your own money, but also control of your own decisions and choices. So
for sure.
um, that's what I love that we're trying to do is just help that
Yeah,
a lot of different ways. So
it's awesome.
yeah,
Well, great. Well, I'm excited for the conversation to continue going, and I think today's topic was definitely like perfect timing for what's going on, just because there's a lot going on.
there's a lot going
And
on.
it's not to like, we like to have fun, but it's not to like poo-poo on anybody's parade. We just want people to be
No,
aware. So just keep
that's
sticking
it.
with us. We're going to keep posting some awesome information. We might even just share what we're doing, who we are, all that type of thing, and just probably like a special event or something like that. So anybody that's thinking about leaving their big box retailer or is they're starting to get word that they're closing or things like that, we can definitely build something together and see where it's a good fit. So
Absolutely.
excited to keep in touch with you, Amanda. Thank you so much, and
You got it.
see you all next week. Take
See you
care.
next week.
Love you too. Bye. I wonder if it's recording when I do all these dance moves. Only when I'm talking, probably.